Dear students, welcome to Distributed Systems Lecture 5. Hope you are all doing well at home and taking the necessary precautions of COVID-19 and stay safe. In this lecture, we will continue the issues of designing a distributed operating system. We have stopped in the concept of stateless servers.
The client-server model is frequently used in distributed systems. You know that the client-server model is the one in which the client will every time, most of the time he will ask a request and the server is responsible for responding to that particular request. This is nothing but client-server model. And it may happen sometimes vice versa also. Means server may ask a request and in which the client will give the response. That is nothing but a client-server model. So in this model, a server may be implemented by using any one of the approaches, that is a stateful approach or a stateless approach. So in a stateful approach, the approach in which if it depends on the history of the serviced requests, it is stateful approach. Means it remembers the previous history. The opposite means in a stateless approach, it does not depend on the serviced requests. Serviced request means already if something is served by the server, it is the serviced request. Generally, HTTP protocol is a stateless protocol. We have to make it by following any of the methods to make it a stateful protocol. So basically, the stateless servers have a distinct advantage over stateful servers in the event of failure. So these stateless servers have an advantage in the case of event of a failure because they did not depend on the previously served requests. Acknowledgements and timeout based retransmissions of messages are important, and events such as a node crash or a failure in communication link may interrupt the communication which is in progress between the two processes, which results in the loss of a message. So in a distributed system, in order to provide reliability, a inter-process communication mechanism has two ways. It has to detect lost messages so that it can retransmit those messages, or it need to handle the lost messages depending upon the acknowledgement received. Whenever we receive a letter, we will sign on the acknowledgement, and that acknowledgement will be received by the sender, so that he will be knowing that the letter is received by the receiver. Like that, depending upon the acknowledgement, if the sender is not receiving the acknowledgement, he will know that I need to retransmit this message, like that. So duplicate messages may be sent in the event of failures or because of timeouts. Timeout is another mechanism where we can retransmit the message based on timeout. Say for example, if we are not receiving an acknowledgement in 5 seconds or 10 seconds depending on the speed of the channel or communication link, we can think of that we need to retransmit it because of the timeout condition. So the mechanism described here is depending upon the timeout. we can retransmit the message. There is a possibility of duplicate messages when the acknowledgement is somewhat late. So all these techniques which we are following, which we are discussing here, are very cost effective, much in cost, and the major challenge of distributed operating system designers is to integrate all these retransmission mechanisms or duplicate mechanisms in a cost effective manner for providing a reliable system. We need to provide it in a cost effective manner because they are too costly to incorporate a large number of reliability mechanisms. The designer should take care while designing the system. And the third issue we need to take care is flexibility. So this is another important issue in the design of the distributed operating system. The design of a distributed operating system should be flexible because some ease of modification means if we want to do any modifications, it should be easy, and if we want to enhance the distributed system features, it should be somewhat easy. So we need to take care of these issues. And the next is performance. If a distributed system is to be used, its performance must be at least as good as a centralized system. However, it provides a better performance, but we need to follow some design principles in order to get better performance while designing. So, batch if possible means we can batch a similar jobs for execution at one time. Cache whenever possible. Frequently used jobs will be placed on a cache so that we can retrieve it in a less time. So it also gives better performance. Whenever the frequently used items are placed in a cache, it need not get the items from main memory like that. Here also if we update cache memory, then the performance will be better. Minimizing copying of data. Redundant data is a feature in distributed system, but we need to minimize it so that the performance will be more. Minimizing the network traffic, and we can also go for multi-processing for getting better performance. Multi-processing means making that program into different threads and running, executing. And the next concept is scalability. It refers to the capability of a system to adapt to increase the service load. Means already we have discussed that scalability means to increase the capacity. So here to increase the service load, we are considering it as a design issue. So whenever we are giving lunch for a 10 members, we will think of as 15 members. We will not prepare for 5 or 8 members, right? When there is a scalability, someone may add to your friends, existing friends of 10 members. So you need to prepare more in order to meet 15 members. So like that, scalability refers to the capability of a system to adapt to increase the service load. Whenever sometimes service load may increase dynamically. In such a case, if it is not scalable, it is useless. So the distributed system will grow with time. Since it is very common to add new machines, we can add new machines or entire subnetwork to the system can be added. So some guiding principles of designing scalable distributed systems are: avoid centralized entities, means whenever you are using centralized algorithms, you have to avoid them and perform most operations on client workstations. All the most possible operations should be performed on client side. In such a case, we can have the scalability. The next is heterogeneity. So it consists of dissimilar hardware or software systems. In a heterogeneous distributed system, the interconnected sets of computers are dissimilar in hardware and software. Means some computer hardware is of i3, another computer might be i5. It has configured in a software configured OS is Linux, software configured is Windows or Linux or some version of Linux, Ubuntu, like that. And not only that one, and it is differ in RAM, like that. It is all the computers interconnected are dissimilar. They are not common, they are not having common features of hardware and software. So incompatibilities, we need to take care of incompatibilities in a heterogeneous distributed system. For example, whenever you are downloading any app, if your mobile is of old one, the new apps will not support to your system, to your mobile. Means it is not compatible. In such a case, the user will upset. So we need to take care while designing a distributed system that it supports any type of computer hardware or software. In a heterogeneous distributed system, some form of data translation is necessary for interaction between two incompatible nodes. Why? Because the user need to know, and if there is no interaction between two incompatible nodes, means from Google Play server to us, we are two nodes and it is incompatible. Some interaction or communication should be there in order to know. So this is one of the another design issue we need to take care. And the thing is security. So we need to give a trust to the users who are in a distributed system. So the clients can rely on a system whenever it is secure and protected, if he thinks so. So enforcing security in distributed system is more difficult than a centralized system, because there is a lack of single point of control, right? Many people will share the data and many people will use the system and we will not have some control. And the use of insecure networks for data communication is also one of the reasons for building security in a distributed system. See, in a centralized system, all the users are authenticated, means by taking a login time and their passwords, we will take care in a centralized system. So whenever the user is authorized, then only the request operation for accessing the resource is granted. But here in a distributed system, since the client server model is also following requesting and providing services, when a client sends a request message to the server must have some method to know who is the client. Is the client is authorized or not? Then only the server need to grant access to that particular resource. So we need to take care this while designing an operating system. So chapter 11, that is cryptography concept, in your syllabus we will learn it under unit 5. All the security aspects required for a distributed system will be dealt here. Encrypting some information. Private information is encrypted. Encrypting is nothing but converting the plain text message into unreadable format is nothing but encrypting. Means in a normal message, it is human readable format. But in a encoded message, it is unintelligible, means the human cannot easily identify it. And the decrypted message, decrypted means that encoded message is nothing but ciphertext. That ciphertext will be converted to a normal message. That is nothing but the concept of decryption, which will be done at the server side. So at sender side, what happens? Encryption will be done, and at the server side, decryption will be done. In between, the text is called as the ciphertext. Normal message to ciphertext is encoding or encryption. Ciphertext to plain text, that is message, is decryption. More about these concepts we will cover under Unit 5. And the last issue is emulation of existing operating system. Means, in order to get a success in commercial organizations, it is important that a newly designed distributed operating system should be able to emulate. It should cooperate with the existing popular operating systems such as Unix. When you are designing a new distributed operating system, it should be compatible or it should be useful when with the Unix system like that. So with this property, new software can be written using the system call interface of the new operating system. And only a vast amount of existing old software can also be run on the same time without need not rewriting them. So if it supports this feature, it is nothing but emulation of existing operating system. Moving to the new distributed operating system will allow both types of software to be run side by side. The new one and the old one will run side by side. So these are some of the issues we need to take care while designing a distributed operating system. Thank you. If you have any doubts, please mail us at gayatricrr2021@gmail.com. I have given you in the second slide. You please write to me. Thank you.